remove time reversal from the game. What diminishing returns does is it costs 1 less than time reversal, does the same thing, but before you draw your 10 cards, the person who cast it, you have to exile the top 10 cards of your deck. So the Dredge player is playing the Prozac style, Faithless Looting, Lion's Eye Diamond list. He's on the play and has a Putrid Imp on turn 1 off a Gemstone Mine.
And Nick Crickmere.
Elijah, the Storm player, responds with a, that looks like, yeah, okay, so there's a Volcanic Island, and passes the turn, is going to get Stinkweed Imp, turn 1, dredges 5, hits a Narcomoeba. So, Putrid Imp, Stinkweed, and Narcomoeba, Gemstone Mine.
The Kevin Caruso's list, 1 Flamekin Zealot, and 2 Icarids.
Kevin has a City Brass to join his Gemstone Mine. He's going to opt to Cabal Therapy. Not sure what he named, but Rite of Flame, I guess. Passes the turn. Actually, looking at Elijah's hand, I think he should have just gone for it on turn 1. He had the ability to add nulls on turn 1. 0 floating, but passing the turn back, I think Kevin's dead here. I think Elijah has ad nauseum with Lion's Eye Diamond up.
It is possible we might end up getting another match very soon. Both of these decks...
did he not pass the turn? No, he did, and it passes back? I think Elijah had him dead on 1 and 2 here. Dredge misses again. It hits a Cabal Therapy, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. There's no Bridge from Belows. There's an Icarid that hits a Burning Wish. I don't think that's the right card to name either. I think you want to name Dark Ritual and keep him off this ad nauseum.
One of the things about playing against Storm, I think the best players that are good at playing against Storm are Storm or former Storm players. It's actually, if you're not intimately familiar with Storm, it can be hard to know what to disrupt.
Yeah, whenever you cast a discard spell, you have to be like, how am I comboing off with this hand? Wait, I don't know how to combo off with this deck. So, another Cabal Therapy being flashback, taking the ad nauseum, leaves Elijah with a hand of mana, but leaves Kevin with a slow Dredge. So that's a Duress for Elijah off the top. It's going to warrant another pass back to Kevin. Dredge 6 from a Grave Troll. Hits Narcomoeba, Bridge, another Cabal Therapy, and a Faithless Looting.
God, Cabal Therapy again.
Yeah, it's one of the brutal things about Dredge, but I don't know if Kevin can, if he flashes this back. He also has an Icarid in his graveyard, possibly, that he could have brought back. But he's 1 short of this Faithless Looting, which would really let him sort of explode out onto the table. Let's see here. Kevin's probably debating whether he wants to take this Lion's Eye Diamond, but... Yep. Maybe the Dark Ritual, actually. Yep, nope, the Lion's Eye Diamond reveals a Duress. Elijah at 18 with Duress, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual in hand. That is his only ad nauseum for the record, so that might be a concern for him. He needs a way to sort of push back. Kevin gets a zombie token here. Elijah drew a Rite of Flame, just looking for any sort of way to sort of kill Kevin at this point, an Infernal Tutor or a Burning Wish. Kevin returning an Icarid, dredging a Stinkweed Imp, hitting another Icarid, but no more bridges, and he's already used 3 of his 4 Narcomoebas here.
Now, I actually really appreciate, just for the sake of our camera, Kevin putting his graveyard out like this.
Yes.
Very helpful.
So it looks like Kevin attacked for 5, putting Elijah down to 13, and then the Icarid died at end of turn, giving him another zombie. So Elijah's on a 2-turn clock here. Next turn, he's going to go to 3 life off of Icarid, Zombie. And I don't think Kevin has a Dread return in his graveyard, which could
I don't see one. Wait. Is that one? No, that's a Bridge from Below.
Yeah. Elijah drew the Infernal Tutor, so let's see if something happens here.
He could well do it.
Doing some math, Oh, well, better hit another Cabal Therapy next turn. This isn't going to end well. You know.
And the thing about it, too, is for Elijah, when you try to go off early, it's much harder. But if he waits, a Therapy could just get him.
Yeah.
Or a Flamekin Zealot, for that matter.
That's one of the reasons I like this 5-color build against the Dredge decks is because it's much better at the turn 1 and turn 2 kills because of the Chrome Moxes on top of the Lotus Petals.
Lotus Petal.
Lotus Petal. Storm count 1. The Storm deck's just very interesting in this matchup. One of the interesting things to think about is that if you have Duress, your early Duresses against the Dredge deck are often just devastating. So Lotus Petal for black, Dark Ritual, 3 black, 2 Storm. Duress that sees 2 creatures, knew those were there. 2 black, 3 Storm. Rite of Flame, 2 black, 3 red, because there's the other Rite of Flame that was discarded earlier. And 4 Storm. This might be an Empty the Warrens kill. Or pseudo kill, I guess.
Infernal 2 with an empty hand. Black, red, red available.
It's going to make 12 goblins. Elijah thinking, I don't think he has any other options other than 12 goblins right here. Only has 4 mana, which is sort of this critical point where you can't... Oh, he just opted to not make goblins? 2 Icarids come back.
I'm confused.
Maybe he just realized thought halfway through, maybe goblins isn't going to be enough here to beat these zombies. And just sort of said, well, I have to tutor for something, and then...
Burning Wish for...
Is that Burning Wish up for Past in Flames next turn? If he draws... He's actually... I don't think he can draw enough mana to win here.
Sorry, he could go... Burning Wish for... Does he have a diminishing returns?
He has a time reversal, but there's
no mana.
There's +3. Yeah, even a Rite of Flame off the top is only +3 mana at this point. So he's short of casting either Past in Flames or just any of the spells that he could cast to kill here. So Elijah
Worm's Chant,
Burning Wish,
Chant you,
and concede the game. I think Elijah missed a big chance on turn 1. Just sort of go for it.
Right. I mean, so on turn 1, I forget at this point, did Kevin or Elijah go first?
I think
Kevin went first.
Kevin was on the play. I think once your opponent reveals a Putrid Imp off of, it was a Gemstone Mine. Like, there are some Reanimator builds that do play Putrid Imp, but the Gemstone Mine kind of, in my opinion, gave it away that it's Dredge. So I think on turn 1, Elijah just sort of...
Well, didn't he cast a Looting as well on turn 1?
No, it was Putrid Imp, no discard.
Oh, he cast Putrid Imp on turn 1. So if he cast Putrid Imp on turn 1, I think that what you want to do is realize how quickly Dredge can perhaps therapy you. And, I mean, you've got that 1 turn window. Basically, is it that turn or the next turn?
Right. I think that he... I think that he had Rite of Flame, Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Land was what I saw, and Ad Nauseam.
Right.
So Rite of Flame. So Lotus Petal is 1 mana. The Volcanic Island's 1 mana, so that's 2. Dark Ritual's worth +2, so 4.
I saw Elijah there just throw up his hands for a second. He looks really frustrated with himself. I wonder what he's thinking about.
It happens. It's easy to miss plays with the Storm deck. And then the Rite's 5, so you just Ad Nauseam. You're at 20 life. You have 3 Lotus Petals, 3 Chrome Moxes left. And, what's the worst case scenario? You draw a bunch of cards and pass the turn at, 4 life, unable to die to the onboard Putrid Imp. You can just Ad Nauseam and pass the turn.
I think that 5 life would be the safest life, just in case he goes discard Icar, discard something.
Maybe 6, because the Putrid Imp +1's on Threshold.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So 6 would probably be a safe life total, but I'd probably keep going at 6 if you're just looking for a mana source.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Ari Lax. This is round 4 of the Legacy Open here at Memphis. Elijah Bishop loses game 1 to Kevin Caruso. His Storm deck had a potential risky attempt for a turn 1 win.
Right.
But playing against Dredge similarly has its ability to Goldfish. Yeah. So in the dueling Goldfish battle, he ended up getting torn down by, was it 3 Cabal Therapies by the end?
3 Cabal Therapies within the first 3 turns, I believe. Or there was 1 on 2, another 1 on 3, and 1 on 4. Looking at sideboards, Kevin, these decks don't really have sideboards. The Storm deck is Burning Wish. The Dredge deck has Ley Lines and Chains, which aren't going to be brought in. I think that Kevin might bring in an Ancient Grudge or 2 to try and hit a Lion's Eye Diamond. But I think that only matters with double lines at diamond and or maybe incorrect sequencing, so I don't know about that.
How do you feel about Iona as a
Iona
sideboard
is
card?
the card that he wants here for sure.
Okay.
He wants another card that he can just sort of dredge into and lock the game up with a Dread Return.
And
he does only have 2 Dread Returns, however, so...
For Elijah's deck, do you think that Elijah has any cards in his sideboard that he wouldn't really want to wish for, but he might want to cast?
I can't really think of anything right here. Pyroclasm, I'd want in the board to wish for, so I have 4 of it. I have to do that. Don't want Shattering Spree, Wipe Away, Grape Shot, Tendrils, Past in Flames, Deathmark, Empty, Time Reversal, Hull Breach, Ill-Gotten Gains, and Duress.
Are you sure you don't board in one of the alternate kills, or,
One of the Graveyard, instead of the Empty the Warrens?
Actually board it in so you can have a couple different ways to potentially win.
I'm not sure.
Game
We'll see,
underway.
Elijah ponders on turn 1. It looks like he has a Lion's Eye, a Lotus Petal, a Ponder, and an Ormchant. This is off of a Mold of 6 for Elijah, so keep that in mind. Kevin has a turn 1 City of Brass.
Cabal Therapy, such a good card.
Misses. I'm assuming he named Infernal Tutor or something along those lines.
Let's pretend that you're Kevin Caruso and you're playing against
okay.
Elijah Bishop playing Storm. What would your turn 1 Cabal Therapy naming be? You'd say
Infernal Tutor or Lion's Eye Diamond.
Okay.
Those are the 2 real power cards of the deck. Elijah obviously rips into a Burning Wish right here.
Obviously.
Yeah. Burning Wish is the other option, but I think Infernal Tutor's there's a chance they boarded out an Infernal Tutor to be able to go Burning Wish, Infernal Tutor as a chain setup, but I don't know about that. Especially, he could board out an Infernal Tutor and board in a Past in Flames or an Ill-Gotten Gains and set up that chain from the tutor. But
Ponder again. Looking for a land?
Looking for mana, potentially. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana available to him right now, but the Burning Wish for Empty the Warrens, I don't know if that's going to be enough against Dredge.
And remember, the Cabal Therapy is in the yard, so if Kevin has any creature, he can do it again. He knows most of the cards in Elijah's hand. He only doesn't know one card.
Yeah. Elijah opting to play Scalding Tarns here, which, looking at his list, he does not have... it's pretty standard for these lists, but he does not have a land to fetch that can make white mana. So he has to...
Narcomoeba?
Yep, there's
Narcomoeba. Wonder what that one's going to do.
I think Elijah may have wanted to cast the Lion's Eye Diamond last turn. Just keep it out of harm's way from that Cabal Therapy.
And there it is in the yard now.
Yeah. So Elijah's going to draw for his turn. It's a Brainstorm.
Oof.
He's probably going to sack the Scalding Tarn, getting a land. He cannot get a white land for that Ormchant, by the way. Just Volk and Underground in these lists usually. I guess he has a Tropical Island, so he can cast this sideboard Hull Breach, but does not have the white source for Ormchant. So he has an Underground Sea in play. He's going to try and Brainstorm into some action, it looks like.
Hull Breach, by the way, a really great commander card for you Zera Aryan players. Brainstorm.
Ooh, that was
that a ritual?
Ritual Lotus Petal, and I don't think he really cares about the rest because he looks like he's putting back a Chrome Mox.
I see an Ormchant going back.
Yeah.
Did he just
There
go
is
off?
not another turn. This turn is probably it. Storm count is 1.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Uno.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
he passes.
Passes.
Is he going to Ormchant? No, he can't, though. He'll
No.
lose his land.
I think that...
Well, I mean, to be fair, Kevin has very little going right now.
That's true.
There's no dredge happening.
I'm wondering what Kevin kept in his hand this game to... Like, he might have another Cabal Therapy would be my thought. Oh, there's a Faithless Looting. Maybe he just wanted to get the Cabal Therapy down super fast, and he's now going to start dredging this turn. Or next turn. Yep, there
it
we
is.
go. That's what it was. Make sure you don't die on 1. Does he have a Careful Study to keep going here? Or Breakthrough would be absolutely absurd.
3 Breakthrough in this deck. That puts him with 11 awesome dredge-enabling card draw.
3rd land, so Kevin can flashback that Faithless Looting. Next turn, Gemstone Mine going down a counter.
2 mana Breakthrough for 1, perhaps?
Maybe, nope, just an
Narcomoeba.
Passing
Interesting.
turn. Drawing
Now-
2 Narcomoebas is very harmful in Dredge. You can no longer just sort of go off through your deck because they're just not going to come into play. Oh,
Let's check out what happens. Is it going to be this turn?
maybe this turn. Let's see. Elijah has...
Now, if you're Elijah, is the only card at this point that you could even imagine happening is like a Mindbreak Trap at worst if your opponent was crazy?
I don't think that Dredge can afford to...
I don't
board
think
these
so
cards
either, but I'm
in,
just like... But usually Dredge cards are kind of hard to afford to do. You know what I mean? Like, they all are dead weight against what your deck does.
Yeah, you can't really sideboard with Dredge, and I'm looking at like these. I know
Richard Feldman's
Richard
Fearless.
Feldman
Yeah,
yeah. He just was like, yeah, you can't really board these Dredge cards, otherwise your deck doesn't dredge.
and like the big
Or these,
argument that Richard Feldman made was that he looked at the results of his tournaments and several other Dredge players' tournaments and saw that, and that's the third spell.
I don't see
Dark
an
Ritual.
Inquisition on this deck list.
Where do you see an Inquisition?
Under that Chrome Mox, this could be an issue. It's 3 spells, but I don't see an Inquisition unless I'm missing it.
Is there a card that looks like Inquisition of Kozilek?
What is that under the Chrome Mox?
Let's find out.
That is an Inquisition of Kozilek. This could be an awkward ending for Elijah Bishop.
We'll be checking on that in a second.
Burning Wishing for Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Chrome Mox, 4, 5, 12 zombies, or 12 empty tokens. But that does not look like an Inquisition that's on his deck list. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 5 Duresses on his deck list.
Okay, I think I see what's happened here. It looks like Elijah Bishop registered a 4 Duress in his main and a Duress in his sideboard, which I bet you is supposed to be registered as an Inquisition of Kozilek.
Very possibly, yeah. I should have noticed that because there's usually a Thoughtseize there. So we are going to get this
we're gonna
resolved.
have to give Elijah some bad news.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's probably going to be 2-0 to Kevin.
So going with that comment about Richard Feldman's article, again, I would say one of the best deck tech articles of all time. The essential argument Richard made was he noticed that his sideboard cards weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And he then looked at an old report he had, and he noticed his sideboard cards didn't do anything. And then he looked at 2 other players or 1 other player's tournament reports and found out their sideboard cards weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? Maybe we should make this deck a little
Yeah.
differently.
So he's like these ancient grudges and these chain of vapors, like, but you know, you have to draw the chain, they have to draw their hate spell, and you know, maybe in a world where Grafdigger's Cage is around, you have to have this because his logic was that if they have Leyline, they have Leyline, but they have to have it on 1. Maybe Grafdigger's Cage changes this a little by adding some kind of dynamic where, yes, they can draw it on 3 and it locks you out, but I'm not really that afraid of any of the other hate cards. Like,
and
you can play straight through a Tormod's Crypt, straight through a Relic of Bridge on
And
this.
if you look at his sideboard cards in his list are very interesting. They're cards like Winds of Change, which is basically an alternate way for him to activate his dredges, and also good against, say, a deck like Storm.
Yeah. Your opponent goes Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, and you're like, oh, well, you set up your hand, and now you don't have a hand.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or another card that he has in his board was Firestorm, because he's just like, well, I'm just going to hurt you.
Yeah. Firestorm is awesome. That card, you know, it's a dredge enabler, so it actually does something in your deck, but it just sweeps their board.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of these times, these fairy decks, you battle through, you know, a Tormod's Crypt, they have a bunch of guys in play, and you've just been sandbagging a Firestorm, just like, kill your guys, 40 you, break through, are we done here?
Yeah, I saw a turn 1 kill with Firestorm. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it was at the JSS Championships at some event. One kid who's probably about 8 goes Jackal-Pup. His opponent goes Mountain. Kid attacks with Jackal-Pup on his turn 2, casts Jackal-Pup, Jackal-Pup. And the other kid goes Firestorm for 5.
You, and you.
So he hits himself for 5, but kills the other guy on his own effective turn 1.
For those of you who don't know some of the cards, Winds of Chain is
Red sorcery.
All players shuffle their hands into their decks and draw draws as many cards as they shuffled back in. So if you're dredging, you know, you have 4 cards in hand, that's 4 dredges. And you know, as we're saying, it resets the Storm player's hand because it's each player. And then Firestorm,
red instant, discard X cards, deal X damage to X targets.
Yes, you have to have X targets, and the discard X cards is an additional cost to the spell. So when you play Firestorm, you're getting a discard outlet no matter what, even if it gets countered. But it does very conveniently. A lot of the time, it was like kill your Wild Mikado, kill your other guy, and then some damage to you.
Okay, it sounds like we're going to find out whether Elijah gets a warning or a game loss here. It's probably going to be a game loss, I believe, for this.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. Now, the situation, for those of you who missed it, Elijah Bishop misregistered his deck, and his deck very clearly is not intending to be, a bad guy deck. He has 4 Duresses registered in the main, 1 Duress registered in the sideboard, and he intended to register 3 Duresses, 1 Inquisition of Kozilek main. And as expected, that is a game loss for Elijah.
Yes. Which is unfortunate given the circumstances.